Here we are, born to be king. And that is no lie. For a while in this movie, I was like, is this a Highlander movie that's totally not called Highlander, but it's totally a Highlander movie that I didn't know about? It's not a Highlander movie, but I suppose that's really useless information for the intro. It's what I thought of, though. It's kind of like Highlander. It's like a passive Highlander. It's Highlander with no beheadings. Anyhow, so The Old Guard is a movie that came straight to Netflix because 2020. Because at first it looked like super special ops. Then one whips out a sword and I was like, that's weird. I didn't know anything about this movie, which I'm kind of really digging this whole going into movies without seeing trailers thing. Turns out that sword has a point and purpose because everyone here, well, they're much older than they look. They get gunned down, well, they just heal right up like Wolverine and they come back to life because they are immortal. They have inside them blood of kings. They have no rival. No man can be their equal, so take me to the future of you all. Then we have Chiwetel Ejiofor kind of sniffs out who and what they are, and we have this one dude. Oh man, if ever there was some Silicon Valley villain-looking motherfucker, this is the guy. I mean, no disrespect to the actor, I'm just saying, one look at this guy and he looks like that morally compromised Silicon Valley asshole who's just probably gonna do some shady shit to capture these people. I feel like I'm being kind of a dick. I don't mean to. It's kind of like Brad Dourif, you know? Like, I love Brad Dourif, but if Brad Dourif gets cast in a role, you know he's probably going to be some creepy motherfucker. It really is praise for the casting. Because, you know, he wants to cure aging, and so it's like, oh, they're the key. So you have Charlize Theron and their crew, and actually a really compelling story among them and why they group together. And then you have this new person who's like, oh, I'm immortal, I'm just figuring this out, and so that she finds her. A lot of compelling elements to this movie, and that's actually what drew me to it. The action's pretty cool, yeah, but the connection among the characters, that's really, it's the meat and bones of this entire story. It's the bone marrow of it. And for one, I really dug it. You feel the connection between them. You get the fact that these people have known each other for centuries. A couple of them were in a relationship, and it's like you get how strong this relationship is, which, boy, that's patience, right? I'm amazed when people make it 30 years. These two have been together since the Crusades, but one of the things this story touches on is how long life and connection let me start over. A long life without connection with people is a really lonely one, and it starts to drive you a little nuts. All that stuff compelled me. Also, I mean, the fact that Charlize Theron just completely eradicates people in a fight. I just like it when people are like, I am so old. Like, Connor McLeod of the Clan McLeod. I've just always loved the fact that people will go toe-to-toe with someone. It's like, great, you've been training for 20 years. They've been training for 2,000 or so. Though, in the end, John Wick could still take any of them on. And the movie had some solid humor a couple times. I really chuckled. I mean, it's violence humor, you know, when people are dead and it's like, well, it's kind of funny. You know what I'm talking about. You all laughed when Marvin got shot in the face in Pulp Fiction. I mean, it wasn't that funny, but there are a couple scenes. It's like, oh, but that's funny. And actually, it's by the end when the whole vision and scope of this whole story comes together, it kind of, I liked it. It kind of reminded me of a show that I can't tell you what the show is because it kind of spoils this story, but it has nothing to do with Highlander-ish immortals. But it's a show that was canceled in its first season that I really liked, and it has that kind of thing in there. That kind of human connection element, you know, and I have a soft spot for that stuff. Fact is, also, when I'm watching it, it kind of feels like a straight-to-Netflix movie, which I imagine it wasn't planned on being a straight-to-Netflix movie. This being the final stages of SimCity, all the disasters are getting thrown at us, and now we're here. This is 2020. The final stage of SimCity and the Matrix. But there is, like, when I try to think of the fact that if I saw this in a movie theater in which I had new movies week to week, back to back, this movie probably would have just gotten lost in the background. But as a straight to Netflix movie, it actually really stands out to me. Advantageous for this movie because it was trending #1 on Netflix at least last night when I watched it. Would it be trending #1 in the weekend box office if it came out in the movie theaters? Probably not. And that is interesting, at least for me, how things feel different. You know, if I have to go to the movie theater and watch a movie, if a movie feels like a straight to Netflix movie in the movie theater, that stands out to me as a negative. But if it feels that way while it's on Netflix, it's just perfectly fine. I don't know if you're that way, but apparently I'm that way. That is to say, in the end, for this movie I hadn't heard about until I did this week, I actually enjoyed this movie. I had a good time with it. It has solid intrigue in terms of its world-building lore among its characters that are intriguing immortal types that you want to know more about, but the movie actually doesn't dump all the knowledge and information on you. And I'm intrigued. I want to see the sequel. I want to see more from this universe because it actually hooked me with its setup and buildup. That is to say, I had a good time with this movie. No alcohol required. All right, so The Old Guard. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below. Let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.